Hello, St. Andre Bessette graduates of 2021. Today is an important day. On this day, we celebrate you and your accomplishment graduating high school. You have come such a long way. Back in grade 9, you probably had some trouble finding your classroom. You were social distancing before it was even a thing. A lot has changed in your years at St. Andre Bessette. Think back to the beginning of grade 9. You were hopeful and excited and probably a little scared as well. Since then, you've traveled a path that was unknown when you started down it. Friends, teachers, classes, extracurriculars, exams, all have provided you with new and unexpected experiences, challenges, and growth opportunities. You came through it all, but now what? Bulldogs, you have faced uncertainty and difficulty. When you undertake new endeavors, you'll be equipped with the experience and wisdom you gained in these last 4 years. As former U.S. President Barack Obama said in a graduation address, "You've got more tools, technology, and talents than my generation did. No generation has been better positioned to be warriors for justice and remake the world." What will you do? Years ago, I used to watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood on TV after school. Fred Rogers was a curious and gentle man with a special gift for speaking with children about emotional topics like sibling rivalry, divorce, and death. He told this story. When I was a boy, and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." To this day, especially in times of disaster, I remember my mother's words, and I am always comforted by realizing that there are still so many helpers, so many caring people in this world. Bulldogs, the COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the importance of working together as a community towards a common goal. You have all made changes in your lives to help get this terrible disease under control. You're wearing masks, social distancing, adapting to online school, and getting vaccinated when possible. All these measures have helped your community and the world. More recently, very close to here, we witnessed the outward expression of another disease. We saw our neighbors brutally killed and injured because of the disease of Islamophobia. Hatred and intolerance exist everywhere in the world. Unfortunately, they will always be with us. But that does not mean we are incapable of making a difference. This horrific act was a brutal reminder that we have a lot of work to do. But it was also a reminder of the good within us and around us. The community outpouring of support for our Muslim sisters and brothers has been uplifting. I encourage you to do even more. Just as you stepped up to help your community with COVID-19, now you are called, as St. Andre Bessette graduates, to support and accept others and to speak up against intolerance. The famous Dutch theologian Henri Nouwen encouraged us to be angels for one another. I think that is a beautiful image. As you go forward in life, finding ways to help and uplift others will reap rewards beyond imagination. When we have a purpose in life, bad experiences cannot get the better of us. Our larger purpose keeps us focused on what really matters. I urge you, Bulldogs, to draw on your experience, face your fears again, and find ways to be helpful to others. Look around you. How can you give back? Who can you lift up? St. Andre Bessette graduates of 2021. You have already started on your path. Keep up the excellent work. I know you won't let us down. The world is counting on you.
Hello to my fellow peers, teachers, parents, and guardians. I'm here today to speak as your 2021 valedictorian, and it's truly an honor to be here. Before I begin, I want to speak of the horrific act we experienced as a community a few weeks ago. There are no words to describe how tragic the situation was, and it's important for all of us to remember that we must stand against such acts of violence because it cannot be considered acceptable. There is no tolerance in this community for individuals who possess such hatred and target others with violence. Our prayers are with the family and all of our Muslim brothers and sisters. Hope is having the ability to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. This past year has made way for some very unprecedented times and have caused us to act and think differently than we ever have before. Although it has been challenging for most people, there have also been some positive outcomes. Never have we been able to put the entire world on pause and take restock of our lives. The pandemic has given us each the opportunity to slow down and reevaluate the little things in life. We have found creative ways to socialize at a distance and stay connected to our friends, family, and community. Although we have learned a lot throughout this year, it has also impacted our school, family, and personal life. St. Andre Bessette works hard to provide students with a fun and exciting school community, and our class has been lucky enough to have experienced a lot of great activities, such as Golden Puck, Powder Puff, Bulldog Day, Red Feather, and One Run, just to name a few. This has ultimately made it even more difficult to finish our last year without these astounding events. Although we have done a great job at adapting to the ways of online learning, nothing can compare to the experiences we create inside a classroom and within our school. But I mean, being out of uniform and doing school in sweats has been pretty nice. For me, 2021 is the year we must seek hope. Hope for the pandemic to subside, hope for the love over hate, hope for reconnection with family and friends, and hope for us as graduates to achieve the impossible. I will forever miss the common stairs, a place where we congregated, danced, laughed, and of course, fell. I will never forget the countless phrases I learned in Mr. McAdams' grade 9 science class, like texting machines, bugaboo, and dollars to donuts. I will always remember texting my friends to go on walks during class just to miss 5 minutes, or going to pick up some snacks in the foods room. However, the thing I'll miss most about SAB are the insanely good calf cookies. Just kidding. The thing I'll miss most is the community we've developed at SAB over the last 4 years. We have grown not only as students, but as people. The obstacles we have faced as a class are far more difficult than many teenagers face, but we've all come out of it so much stronger. And these skills will allow us to excel in the real world. As you move on from this stage in your life, remember that this is only the beginning, and we have so much more of life ahead of us. Anything you do, do with grace, kindness, and intent. And a final reminder to thank the people who got you here. Roll, dogs.
Hello, graduates, parents, family, and staff, and friends. I want to thank you for tuning in to our virtual graduation to celebrate the graduating class of 2021 from St. Andre Bessette. I hope that everybody is healthy and safe during this difficult time. I also hope that you enjoyed our individual graduation ceremony in our courtyard. Your walk down the red carpet was a moment for you to reflect back on your time at St. Andre Bessette. We tried our best to give you the moments in the spotlight that you so deserved this year. I want to start by thanking you for taking the time to view the virtual graduation ceremony. I recognize that you're all tired of watching classes and speeches on your computer, so I thank you if you made it through this speech. I also want to thank Abby Robinson and congratulate her on her valedictorian speech. You did a great job representing your class. You are also the very first female valedictorian from St. Andre Bessette, and I say it was about time. Well, it's been a little bit of a year, hasn't it? And I know this graduating year was not the school experience you had all hoped for or were expecting. Some of you chose to join the virtual school for the year, and some of you chose to return to St. Andre for the in-person learning. For those of you that did choose virtual learning, we missed you. And for those of you that were in the building, it was great to see you every other week. It was a little odd for those of you in Cohort A when I would see you on a Tuesday and say, see you next week. No matter where you were this year, and no matter what cohort you were in, you are a Bulldog and part of our graduating class of 2021. So what do we do with a year like this? I think we have to acknowledge that it was hard. It was hard for our staff, hard for you, and hard for your family. This is not what school is supposed to look like. Wearing masks in through this door, out through that door, not a whole lot of fun. There were some days it broke my heart to see what school was like for you. You didn't get a prom, a normal grad, a school play, heck, you didn't even get to eat lunch together. We thought about trying to put a yearbook together, but in the end, it was a bunch of empty pages. But I give all of you credit for the learning that you were able to accomplish this year. Switching back and forth between online and in-person, school closures, cohort A on one day, cohort B on the other day, and your own isolation away from family and friends. So I congratulate you and our staff for the job you did this year. You respected each other and understood what we were doing was designed to keep everybody safe. So perhaps maybe we can look at this year as an opportunity to learn more about ourselves. So I asked you, what did you learn about yourself during this pandemic? Maybe you connected more and valued the time with your family. Maybe you appreciated your health more. Or maybe you had a chance to slow down and spend more time with yourself and the people that really mattered in your life. Or maybe you learned that you don't like spending that much time with the same people. Or maybe you realized that you really liked school and missed it. Or maybe not. Life is one giant big lesson, and I like to reflect on some lessons that I hope you learned this year and throughout your time at St. Andre Bessette. So here we go. Lesson number 1. This year is just a moment in time in your life. I'm hoping that you can take your total experience at St. Andre Bessette and look back at it with fondness. There were some fun things that we were able to do prior to this year, and life is a series of moments that melted together into one, and this year is just one of many for you. This year you persevered and graduated, which is an accomplishment during the pandemic. There are some specific moments from this grad class that I will remember. I will remember fondly always seeing Simon in the hallways or the bathroom multiple times per day. I'll miss Nathalie's passionate emails and Lauren being the most mature person in the building. I'll remember Jawahir's determination and resiliency and Alyssa's laugh and love for life. I'll remember Kamare's comeback student of the year for the effort and accomplishment he obtained this year. And I'll always remember that Aiden needs some art lessons for his graffiti art. I'll remember Alan for always keeping it real, and for Emma Min being the best hockey player in the building. Yes, even better than Mr. Bannister. I'll remember Valerie's art and remember the first high school dance for a lot of you that attended in grade 9, dancing awkwardly with each other as you navigated the beginnings of grade 9. You've all come a long way. I'll remember the football snowball, SAB puck, the school play Bring It On, your participation in United Way football and Goodwill Classic and the Bessette dance shows. Man, remember all those things? You may be remembered by some as a graduating class who lost out on a year, but I'll remember you as a class that rose to the challenge of completing high school during a pandemic. There is no doubt that all of you will do great things. A second lesson, that the small things matter. In a year where we lacked the big things happening at school, I hope that you all gained an appreciation for some of the smaller things in life, such as a hello, a wave in the hallway, a how are you doing? For me, some of those small things this year, because I do miss the big things, were reading your report cards, you filling out your daily attestation, I know how much of a pain that was, me greeting people in the morning. I was also very thankful for student council efforts to bring school spirit, getting slimed and a pie in the face, all those small things that mattered this year. It's not that I didn't miss the big things, but the small things mattered this year. I missed the conversations in lunchtime and just seeing you out in the hallways and during lunch. So I hope that you are all able to celebrate some of those small but important moments this year. Maybe you have just participated once, maybe just once in an online class. Some of you might even turned on a camera. From what I heard from our teachers, many of the lessons were like an episode from Dora the Explorer. They would ask a question and then a whole lot of silence. So those small victories in class, those small moments, will make a difference. Another lesson, sacrifice is hard. This year, we all had to sacrifice for the greater good of all. As difficult as this year was, our collective action literally saved lives. We gave up our social life so that the elderly, the vulnerable, the sick could be safe. It was easy to get caught up in what we couldn't do and forget why we were doing it. Sacrifice is hard. And in a society where the focus tends to be on the I, we were forced to focus on the us. We were still able to support the less fortunate with our Be an Angel campaign, our Lenten campaign, and more recently, our support for the Afzal family that were killed. We are called to support each other during hard times, and as a class and community, and as a graduating class, you did that. Another lesson this year was not a wasted year. Don't let anyone tell you that you have lost learning or there's a gap in your learning. Granted, it wasn't what we were used to, but it would be a disservice to the work of you and our staff to consider this a wasted year. You all accomplished great things this year. That accomplishment could literally just be getting by, or maybe thriving, or maybe finding moments of joy in your day, or coming out of a pandemic healthy. You made it and you did it, but it was not a wasted year. Lastly, I think the lesson learned this year was to learn to nurture hope. Your grad gift this year is a small sapling that you can plant. If you're off to college or university, you can plant it in a planter in your dorm or in your house. Or if you're staying at home, I'm sure your parents wouldn't mind you planting a tree somewhere, or you can keep it in your room. Attached to this sapling is a saying, nurturing hope. And from Isaiah 40:31, it says, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength." What an appropriate theme for Catholic Education Week this year. Hope is one thing we can hang on to, but hope also needs action. How you treat people, and especially in times of stress, can define who you are. We were all under a great amount of stress this year, but how this graduating class responded, both staff and students, certainly gave me hope. There was compassion, empathy, understanding, and love. And as you go on to your next stage in life, hang on to those. Compassion, empathy, understanding, and love. They will bring you hope, and they will provide hope for others. You all have, in some way or fashion during your years as a Bulldog, provided me and the school community with hope. And I can say that our future is in good hands because it is in the hands of Bulldogs. I wish you health and happiness to all of you as you move on to your next journey in life. Roll Dogs. God bless you all.